Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. In the local scene, the Department of Health Bicol Center for Health Development and the Albay Provincial Health Office conducted joint monitoring of private birthing centers across the province from February 9 to 13 to strengthen maternal and newborn healthcare services. The 5-day activity focused on compliance with national standards and the quality of care provided to mothers and infants. Health teams assessed clinical documentation, facility safety and adequacy, adherence to the Philippine Milk Code, and implementation of newborn screening protocols. Officials said the strict compliance with the Milk Code helps protect breastfeeding practices and ensures timely screening for congenital conditions. Albay Provincial Health Office Safe Motherhood Program Coordinator Maria Julian O. Garcia said maintaining high standards in birthing centers is vital to accessible community-level maternal care. Monitoring teams reviewed patient records, inspected equipment and delivery rooms, and evaluated infection prevention and control measures. The Department of Health said the findings will guide technical assistance, capacity building initiatives, and policy recommendations. The activity supports ongoing efforts to reduce preventable maternal and neonatal deaths in Albay. In other story, the Albay Provincial Agricultural Office brought the Kadiwa ng Pangulo Trade Fair to the Cagsawa Festival to expand market access for local farmers. The initiative, led by the Agribusiness and Marketing Assistance Service, aimed to directly link rural producers with consumers. An on-site Kadiwa center allowed festival goers to buy fresh farm products without middleman markups. Goods sold included highland vegetables, organic grains, and locally processed delicacies. Provincial officials said integrating Kadiwa into the festival promotes local food security and economic resilience. They added that the participation of agripreneurs highlights efforts to transform Albay's agriculture into sustainable business ventures. In other news, 37 participants successfully completed the HTML Essentials training conducted from January 29 to February 13. The program was spearheaded by the Provincial Planning and Development Office in partnership with the Department of Information and Communications Technology to strengthen basic web development skills. The beginner-level course covered 30 training hours on HTML structure and syntax, text formatting, multimedia integration, semantic layouts, web accessibility, search engine optimization, and advanced concepts. The training was delivered through an online learning setup that allowed participants to complete modules at their own pace within the set period. All trainees received certificates of completion and Credly digital badges before finishing the course. In the national scene, the Philippine National Police reported 1,488 theft incidents in the first 6 weeks of 2026, marking a 2.87% decrease from the 1,532 cases recorded during the same period last year. PNP Chief Jose Melencio Nartates Jr. said while the drop is a positive sign, the public should continue to stay alert and practice safety measures to avoid becoming victims of crime. He added that many theft incidents are caused by simple negligence, such as leaving personal belongings unattended or failing to lock doors and windows, which create easy opportunities for offenders. The PNP earlier noted that the overall crime rates in the country fell by 12.5% in 2025, with theft cases alone dropping by 4.31% from 13,232 in 2024 to 12,662 in 2025, showing a continuing downtrend. In other story, Vice President Sara Duterte said Wednesday that she will run for president and apologized for her 2022 alliance with Ferdinand Marcos Jr., whom she accused of failing to deliver on promises and blame for a political split between them. She says she cannot personally ask every Filipino for forgiveness, but instead offered her energy, future, and life in service to the nation, declaring her presidential bid without taking questions from reporters. Duterte is deeply embroiled in political and legal battles, including multiple impeachment complaints over alleged misuse of millions in confidential government funds and controversial public threats she made against Marcos and other leaders. If the Senate convicts her in an impeachment trial, she could be removed from office and permanently barred from politics, which could affect her ability to run for president in 2028. In other news, the Manila Police District has been placed on full alert as the country celebrates the Lunar New Year on Tuesday, with officials expecting massive crowds to gather in Binondo, Manila's Chinatown, to welcome the Year of the Fire Horse. Thousands of Filipino revelers have already filled the streets for the festivities, which include a grand parade set to begin at the Manila Central Post Office and end at Lucky Chinatown Mall, according to police officials. Around 1,600 police officers from the Manila Police District have been employed across key areas to maintain peace and order, as authorities expect attendance to reach or even surpass last year's estimated 2 million visitors from Metro Manila and nearby provinces. To ensure public safety, fireworks displays have been limited to designated areas, including the Binondo Intramuros Bridge, Escolta, the Escalade or Esplanade, and the rooftop of Lucky Chinatown Mall, where the spectators can watch from safe distances. Police said they have not monitored any specific security threats so far, but remain on full alert to ensure a safe and orderly celebration in one of the country's most popular Lunar New Year destinations. And in the news outside the country, residents of Roxbury are protesting plans to turn a massive empty warehouse into an immigration detention center as part of President Donald Trump's expanded deportation campaign. The nearly 500,000 square foot building, originally built to store and ship goods, is one of the several warehouses across the country that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, is considering converting into holding facilities due to a sharp rise in immigration arrests. About 500 people gathered outside the site this week holding signs and read "Not a Jail Town" and "ICE out of neighborhood," reflecting growing concern that facility would change the character of their low-crime community. Although Roxbury voted for Trump in 2024, even the town's Republican-led council passed a symbolic resolution opposing the plan, while some local residents voiced support, saying stricter immigration enforcement is needed. Advocacy groups, including the American Immigration Council, warn that warehouses are not suitable for housing detainees and say the expanding use of such sites show rising tensions nationwide over how immigration enforcement is being carried out. In other story, Israeli NGOs have warned that a new government plan could expand Jerusalem's borders into the occupied West Bank for the first time since 1967. The plan, revealed in early February, at about 2,780 housing units near the settlement of Jiva Binyamin, just outside Jerusalem's current municipal borders. Critics say the project effectively makes the area part of Jerusalem, even though it lies in West Bank territory, raising concerns of de facto annexation. The move follows other controversial Israeli actions in the West Bank, including registering land as state property and giving Israelis more control over certain areas under Palestinian Authority rule. International observers and Israeli watchdogs say these developments create facts on the ground that make annexation more likely, while Palestinians see them as threats to their future state. And finally, in the news outside the country with reference to the Philippines, the United States and the Philippines reaffirmed their maritime partnership on Tuesday during the fourth bilateral maritime dialogue in Manila amid ongoing tensions in the South China Sea. Both nations emphasized upholding international law, including freedom of navigation and safe trade, in line with the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UN clause. The Philippine delegation was led by Assistant Secretary Emmanuel Donato K. Guzman, while the U.S. side included senior officials Hunt Ventertal, David Bedard, and Dr. Ruth Peary. The talks focused on strengthening maritime law enforcement, supporting the Philippine Coast Guard, advancing maritime conservation, and marking the 10th anniversary of the 2016 South China Sea Arbitral Award. Since its launch in 2022, the dialogue has become a key platform for Manila and Washington to coordinate on regional security and protect shared maritime interests. That's all for the News at 12, February 19, 2026. We'll be back tomorrow for Moon News updates. Thanks to our news writer, LJ Lurejo and Noemi Ruth Hernandez. And on the technical side, Tad Bobis. Our Provincial Information Officer, OIC Marty Gonzalez. And under the supervision of our Governor, Noel E. Rusal, I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing. Albay in my heart.